We've talked on the YouTube channel about Hitman 3, guys, the upcoming game in the franchise, and I'm really excited about it. And in this segment of the show, I wanted to talk about the top 5 things that we want in Hitman 3. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts here and what I want mainly, but some of those opinions you may agree with, some of them you may not agree with, and I would love to hear either way your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So coming in, guys, at number 1 for me, the first thing that I would like to see out of Hitman 3 is the conclusion of Agent 47's story. So I know that might be kind of controversial for you guys, but I feel that we have seen Agent 47 and the Hitman, in these games throughout the course of time now. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think there always comes a point in time where you really see the conclusion. And I think that we've played many of, Agent 47's stories. I mean, up to this point, guys, I believe we're at 7 or 8 games at this point in the franchise as a whole. So Hitman 3, guys, I think this would be a great point in which we kind of have Agent 47 passes the torch on to another character, maybe at the end of the game where we start helming it as a new character moving forward. I just think that over time, even though I think it's great to have, this, very similar characters, the same characters in a franchise for so long, I think there comes a point, though, where you need to have new characters that come into the fray that move and progress the series forward. So I'll give you an example, like Gears of War, guys. The first 3 games, you took the helm as Marcus Phoenix, who's one of the most iconic characters in all of gaming. And then, of course, when we had the more recent Gears of War games, that being Gears 4 as well as Gears 5, in Gears 4, Marcus kind of passes the torch on to JD Phoenix, his son, but Marcus is still a supporting character. And then, of course, in Gears 5, JD Phoenix passes the torch on to Kate Diaz, and you take the helm as her, and once again, Marcus is still in the story. So what I'm getting at here is that Agent 47, this could be like the conclusion of his story, but that doesn't mean that he can't be a supporting character or something moving forward. I think it's a good idea, guys, just because the longer the series progresses, there just comes a point where you want to know kind of what happens. You see a lot of these story arcs and things of that nature within the Hitman franchise, but I think it's important that we see where this story ultimately is going with Agent 47, and then another agent kind of comes into the fray and takes over for him. It would be a big move for, of course, this franchise to go in that direction, but I think it may be a really good one. Coming in at number 2 for me, guys, is passing the torch onto a new character. And this is kind of a 2-part here where you kind of want to have new characters as a whole, guys. But I think it's really important that we see Agent 47 pass the torch onto another character, or, in a way at the end of the story, whether that be whether Agent 47 he meets his demise, or he passes the torch on to another character, and that's where, we kind of, this new character that we take the helm of into the next generation of consoles and such, moving and progressing this series forward. I think it's really important, though, guys, that you start introducing some new characters. Even if you say you don't pass the torch on quite yet from Agent 47 to another character, you start introducing other characters to see what we as a fan base like out of some of these characters, and then moving forward we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be important, though. Even though Agent 47 up to this point has been a lone wolf overall, I think it's important that they introduce some new characters. That brings me to number 3, guys, which is multiplayer and co-op modes. Multiplayer, I think, is really important, where from a multiplayer perspective, having a number of ways, guys, that we connect with this franchise. From a single player perspective, from a multiplayer perspective, having multiplayer modes, I think, would be absolutely awesome. Whether those are like some stealth modes or some all-out, run and gun types of modes, I think that would be just another way that you can connect with the franchise and come back over and over again. Co-op is a big thing here, too, especially if you decided, that being IO Interactive, decided to go ahead and they introduced a new character, like a sidekick to Agent 47 throughout the story. And near the end, like he passes the torch, or, you kind of get the impression that now it's this next person's turn, this next agent's turn. But the idea here is that there would be, you could play co-op, or if you play the single player story, the, AI controls that other character. Having co-op modes, I think, is also really important. I think it's the perfect time to try that. We're not really getting any impression at this point in time, guys, if Hitman 3 is going to have co-op, but I think it's something that definitely should be added. And that brings me to number 4, guys. Having new enemies as well as some new locations and just different environments throughout the course of Hitman 3, I think is going to be really important. Simply because, look, you want to have similarities. You want to have differences. So what I mean by that is we want to have, like Agent 47, we want to have some of the, some characters that are, very similar to previous games, or like, as a direct continuation. Or we also want to see locations and such that seem familiar to us in the Hitman universe, but we also want to see differences, being able to explore, infiltrate different, other buildings in different places in this game will be really important. Having new enemies, even some existing enemies from other games, but also having new enemies at the end of the day is going to be really important, I believe, to kind of continue progressing the series forward. And that leads me to number 5, guys, which I think is one that I think Hitman in this universe and this franchise as a whole needs to do is have more customization options as far as, for your character, for the playable characters, even from a multiplayer perspective, if they added a multiplayer perspective, having multiple customizable options, being able to customize your character and your assassin essentially, and then having, different upgrades and different earnable items within the game that you can earn from a multiplayer perspective, from a, co-op perspective, or a single player perspective. I think that's going to be really important as well. Having earnable items throughout the course of the story and through the journey of you playing this game, and then on top of that, having those customization options and upgrades are really important as well. Having more and more that you're able to do from even a customization, perspective, being able to customize even more than we'd ever have before, being able to upgrade things more than we ever have before, and being able to have, a traversal of different types of weapons and such that we're able to have, which Hitman's always done a good job of that, having multiple different types of weapons to use, but even having more in this one would be something that I think could be really special. This title, guys, has written all over it what could be one of the best in the entire series, guys. I'm excited about it, and I hope that it really meets our expectations. But those are the things that I want, guys, out of Hitman 3. Let me know in the comment section below what it is you guys want to see. What are your top 5 things, guys? Let me know. And for more Hitman 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.